The last connective we're going to look at here is arguably the most powerful. It's the strongest connection between two statements, where we're looking at statements of form if and only if, which we call biconditionals. These are essentially a strengthening of the relationship that we saw with the last case. So thinking about those Spice Girls, being with friends meant that you could be one of their lovers, but if you were a friend, it did not guarantee that you would be a lover. So with this, we're getting things a little bit stronger. Here we're saying that one thing guarantees the other just as sure as the other guarantees the first. We get what's called a necessary and sufficient condition. So the phrasing if and only if is equivalent to, well, the two things are equivalent. That's unfortunate phrasing. I said equivalent so many times in there, but the idea is that if two statements fall into a biconditional, then they fundamentally refer to the same thing in different ways. And getting these from music is a little bit trickier than the other ones, so we're just going to get something a bit, well, less musical for how we see these. So if we have the statements P, a person is an unmarried male, and Q, a person is a bachelor, then we could write P if and only if Q as a person is an unmarried male if and only if they are a bachelor. If we switch those, Q if and only if P, we could say a person is a bachelor if and only if that person is an unmarried male, where rewriting the order makes no difference, P if and if Q, or Q if and if P. Then we could also say if P then Q and if Q then P, because it is a biconditional. If a person is an unmarried male, then that person is a bachelor, and if a person is a bachelor, then that person is an unmarried male. Or P is necessary and sufficient for Q, Q is necessary and sufficient for P, being an unmarried male is necessary and sufficient for being a bachelor is necessary and sufficient for being an unmarried male. And we're being still a little bit loose with our notation here. These examples are actually true because they're very specific, but we'll talk later on how exactly we can show that two statements going together result in something that is or isn't true through a construction called a truth table. But that's a complex thing we'll be getting to in section 3.3. For now, we're going to talk a little bit about how parentheses can throw a bit of a monkey wrench into these constructions.